So I posted a video a few days ago about the Premiere Pro beta app that Adobe put out for the M1 MacBooks. It wasn't too in depth, but I've been able to use it for a couple days now, so I just wanted to post another video, kind of like for explaining further how it works. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really go into detail on the first video. It kind of just showed the export speed, the playback speed, and a few other things, but not much. But there are other few things that have come up since I've been able to use it. One of the first things I noticed, so sometimes I do music videos, and sometimes when I imported an MP3 file into the timeline, it wouldn't work. So I'm not sure if that's something Adobe hasn't fixed in the app yet or what's going on, but I would always have to convert the MP3 file to either a WAV file or another format to where I could put it on a timeline as an audio file. So I could use it, with the video just to sync everything. So that might be a little annoying to some people. It wasn't that annoying because they have things online now where you can just go convert it. So it's pretty simple, but still, hopefully it's something that Adobe fixes. The other major thing that I noticed was I used the GH5 to shoot, and I noticed when I use 10-bit footage, I'll show you guys here. When I use 10-bit footage, it is a little bit laggy. The playback, not at first, but if you start to add multiple clips, it does get a little laggy. Like I have it at half here. I'm gonna play it at full, and it runs pretty well. Like in the preview box, let's bring it to the timeline, and you can see. Oh, it's at 1/4. I'll put it at full. I'm not using proxies or anything. And you can see it runs pretty well right there. It's not really lagging or anything, but say you add other clips and I just added a random couple LUTs that they had. If you add those, I'll put it back at full resolution. You'll see that it plays a little bit less smoothly. And I've tested this. Oddly enough, when you bring it down in resolution, you can see it there. It's having some trouble. But when you bring it down in resolution, it doesn't make any difference at all, like in terms of playback speed. And you guys can see there it's at 1/8, and it's still going at the same speed, which is something I'd assume that Adobe will be fixing, because it makes no sense that you would put it at, I don't know what resolution it is, if it's 720 or something like that, and it's not able to do it smoothly. But I'll show you guys some regular 4K footage. So this was 10-bit footage from the GH5. I'll show you guys some regular footage from my camera once. So now this is like regular 10K footage. Regular 4K footage. And you guys can see it runs a lot smoother. Still a little bit behind, not too much, but it still runs pretty smooth. At full resolution, like with no proxies or anything on it, it runs pretty well. So that's a big plus. You could see the power the M1 Macs have, as opposed to the MacBook that I had before, which was like a 2013 16-inch Pro with it was the highest grade at the time, but it had so much trouble playing through any footage that came from my camera. So that was a big improvement. I'll show you guys the export speeds. Export speeds are pretty good. So something Adobe did say in one of their blog posts was that sometimes when you try to export it, you'll see the sizes, which I'll try to show you guys. You'll see the size of the file. It'll have it'll say 5,000 megabytes or something, which would be 5 gigs, or whatever that would equate to. But it says that that's not right. I guess it's something, again, they have to fix. I'll export this as 4K, and you'll see down here, I don't know if you guys can see, it says 13,000 megabytes for the export size. So if we try to export it, you'll see obviously a 13,000 megabyte clip is not going to export this fast. Granted, it is only 25 seconds, but it's high quality footage, and it's running through it pretty fast. It's what, at 19 or 18 seconds now, so the export speeds are pretty fast on the M1 version of the Premiere Pro. And as soon as this finishes, I'll show you guys the actual size of the file. But the export speeds are pretty fast on this computer. Oh, there it is. Let me go see where it is. So it's right there. It said it was going to be 13,000 megabytes. It ended up being 165 megabytes. So when you see those file sizes, when I first saw them, I was like, because the first video I tried to do was like, I think it's at 128,000 megabytes or 170 something thousand megabytes, which at the time my computer didn't have that much space. So I was just like, how is this even going to work out? I can't even export a video if I make it. And this was like a 5-minute video that I was doing. So another thing that I noticed as well, if you guys do use outside plugin programs, I use Red Universe from Maxon. It doesn't work yet on the app, and it did say that on the post that they made that certain effects haven't been ported yet. I don't know if that was referring to actual effects from Premiere, or if they just meant like other effects from other companies wouldn't have been ported or brought over yet, which is obvious because the M1 did just come out like a month ago or almost a month and a half ago now. So companies haven't probably, they have been working on it, I'm sure, but I'm sure they're in the process of putting stuff out. So if you do use certain programs, like I said, they won't work for the M1. So I would still suggest, if you have an older MacBook, not to go and get the M1 yet, because not everything is fully optimized yet for it. So there's no need for you to rush and try and just get into the hype, which is what a lot of people did. I mainly got the M1 so I could test it. I still have my other MacBook here, but there's no need for you to rush it if you're using Premiere Pro, because not everything works for it yet. It does work if you're just doing simple stuff. It works fine. You're doing regular 4K footage, it works fine. Like, you can use it, export faster than what you probably had before. But if you're using it for like high grade stuff, like if you're doing, you know, like actual shoots and movies or short films or music videos, I wouldn't upgrade just yet. I would wait a little bit. I mean, if you have the money, go ahead and do it, but I would just wait a little bit until they put out everything for the Premiere app. But yeah, if you are a Adobe user, meaning not just Premiere, Photoshop, After Effects, they haven't made an After Effects version yet. They're still using the Intel version. I actually tried it on this MacBook. It seems to run okay, like not too bad, but it runs just okay. Like, I'm sure when they make the M1 version, it'll be a lot better. Playback and stuff, like it still had the effects like that I mentioned, because I use Red Giant, so it still had the effects from that, obviously, because it's the Intel app. But I'm sure once they make it into the M1 version, those will be gone until Maxim like decides to upgrade their stuff or upgrade it to the M1 chip. But yeah, if you just use Final Cut and those other programs, that's fine. You can get the MacBook because they've optimized their programs. I think some of them even have the full versions out already. Adobe was a bit slower in putting everything out, but the beta works. It works pretty well, like I said. If you're using regular 4K footage, I don't have a 6K or any higher resolution camera, so I can't really comment on that, but from what I see, like 4K regular 8-bit footage, it works pretty well. Export speeds are pretty fast in comparison to older MacBooks. So if you're just looking for, and this is the MacBook Air, by the way, the 8-core, 8 gig, 256 SSD version. It runs pretty well. And to mention, before I had I did have the MacBook Pro of the M1 before Adobe put out the M1 version of the app. And I'm going to be honest with you, other than the touchpad and a few other differences, I don't really see any difference in power in the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro. And the price difference here in Canada was, I think I paid $13.85 for this one, and the Pro I believe was around 1900 or so, or 17 or 1800, something like that. Because I purchased a warranty too, so it came up to over 2000. But without that, I would assume it would be in the 1900 range. But if you're okay with using the MacBook Air, and you want to save some money and put that money towards something else, or just put it onto getting more RAM or getting more memory on the MacBook Air, I would just go with this. It's a much smaller computer than what I'm used to, but the power output in comparison to the Pro M1, which like I said, I had before, seems to be the same. So you're not gonna lose much in terms of power, but you will lose a few things. But most people don't like the touchpad that's on the MacBook Pro anyways, and some of the other features. Everything else is almost generally the same. If you're just looking for an upgrade, I would probably say MacBook Air. Just go with that one if you don't really care about all the other stuff. If you want, you can go with the Pro, but they're virtually the same in terms of power. Like, they have the same. Some of them have the same cores, and you can get the same memory and the same hard drive capacity on some of them. So I don't see a point in paying the extra $400 if I'm virtually getting the same laptop. But yeah, that was all for today. Just wanted to show you guys a little bit more on how it works. Hopefully Adobe keeps coming out with updates in the future so that the app can get better. I mean, these M1 MacBooks have been the talk of the tech industry as of late, so hopefully all the app makers and software creators and designers and stuff continue to optimize their apps for this computer and whatever other chips come out in the future. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show you guys today. Thanks for watching.